everybody? Welcome back to the Three-Sided Box podcast. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing the Power Ranger movie. Let me start off by saying that I've watched it 4 times in 5 days. And it was more phenomenal.
No homo.
More phenomenal.
No homo.
I'm joined by my brother Michael and Adamo.
What's up?
Eric ditched. I'm gonna try and keep this PG. I won't say why. And George unfortunately could not come. So it's just a 3-man crew today, and we're gonna be discussing basically what we thought about it, what's coming next, and everything in between. So let's get started. I said I loved the movie. It was more phenomenal. What did you guys think?
You wanna go?
Go ahead.
Well, you saw my reaction after the movie. I immediately thought it was just a fun movie to watch. Like, I wasn't going in with like high expectations because I didn't know what it was gonna be about. Like, I knew what the Power Rangers was about, but I wasn't expecting much. But after finishing the movie, it was just a really fun movie to watch. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. It was one of those like kind of I guess stereotypical
Popcorn flick.
Yeah, kind of like a superhero movie, but yeah, I mean it was good. I'm not really a big movie watcher, but like I said, I went in with pretty medium expectations. I thought it was gonna be pretty good, and it ended up exceeding it. So like I said, I didn't think it was like the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I definitely thought that to rejuvenate a fan base that's like that diehard, and for many people to say it was a really good movie, that especially you definitely didn't overrate it, and people, all I saw on the reviews and people on forums was that it was a great movie and that it really touched on a lot of the qualities that Power Rangers brought forth in the 1990s.
Yeah, well, I definitely the movie did what it had to do.
Yeah.
It didn't for all Ranger fans, and let me just throw this out there. I'm a diehard Power Ranger fan. Been watching it since I was a little kid. I have a massive collection. Maybe for the YouTube version of this podcast, maybe I'll throw pictures of my collection, even though it's not complete. Like all the legacy items, the comic books, you name it, I got it. Games, blah blah blah.
You just say like you've spent.
My collection's worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. I have glass cases for that. I have posters. I've met Jason David Frank. I've met Austin St. John. I've met Walter Jones. I've met David Yost. I've met Steve Cardenas. I've met all these guys. I've gone above and beyond. I want to cosplay as the White Ranger. He's my favorite. And that's a $1,500 suit that I'm about to invest in very, very soon for the Montreal Comic Con. So I'm a diehard Ranger fan. Adamo is a childhood fan of the show, watched as a kid, disconnected from it up until basically the last couple of months with the movie coming out. And my brother, who never really cared for Power Rangers, but was basically force-fed it because of me. So he's kind of the middle guy. Adamo, you're like the new fan.
Yeah.
I'm the old school diehard fan. So let's just get the perspective out so people that are watching that are Ranger fans understand where we're coming from. So I obviously have a biased opinion. Michael's kind of in the middle, and Adamo's like completely brand new to this. So in terms of the movie, I thought it was fantastic. It did what it had to do. It was playful, it was fun, and it was serious when it needed to be. I will never accept a dark Power Ranger movie. I don't want blood. I don't want guts. I don't want killing. I don't want swearing. It doesn't need it. Would it be cool if they ever went that route one day? Maybe, but I don't think it needs it. I would never accept it. This is what it is. It's a fun, playful movie, but it has serious moments. This movie was meant to bring in a new generation of fans, young kids, young teenagers, and for the old school people like us, especially me, supposed to rekindle our love for the franchise. So I'll start off just by saying that, and that whoever says Power Rangers needs to be dark, you're an idiot. You're not a real Ranger fan. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And that's just not my opinion. That's fact. Real Ranger fans know that that's not the truth. That fan-made movie that came out a couple years ago with all those big actors, that it was like super dark and gritty. I hated it. I legitimately hated it. It was well done. I understand the production value of it, especially considering it was very, very low budget. It was cool, but it wasn't Power Rangers.
Well,
And that's what this movie was. It was Power Rangers.
if I may, if there's one thing I'll say about the movie is that it touched on the like traditions and whatever made Power Rangers good in the past, like kind of like childhood kind of playful type of attitude. But I think it's one of those movies where anybody could like it if you just go in with the right mentality.
Exactly.
I feel like if you went in with the right mentality, no matter if you're a superhero fan, if you're not a superhero fan, if you're a Power Ranger fan, if you're not, if you like more PG movies, if you like more rated R movies, like it doesn't matter. It attracted
Place everybody.
Exactly, like anybody could like it, and that's one thing that was good about it, is that it had its intense moments, and it had some I guess some not flashbacks, but
nostalgic,
some homage, to the old original show to accommodate for the diehards, but also had some new elements to it that could accommodate for some new fans, and also also for me, like I said, I was just going in there just hoping for a good movie, which it did. But like I said, for the diehards, it really, like I said, I think it touched perfectly on it. It didn't go too hard into either category. It was kind of in the middle, and it satisfied both needs, without it being very like a sellout type of thing movie. So it did a really good job at that, and that's one thing I'll give it.
Well, this movie was. This is, by the way, is probably far spoiler free as we're gonna go. So from here on out, expect spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, you want to watch it. I don't think we said anything that would spoil the movie at this point. Go watch it. Close it from now. Come back after, and tell us your opinion.
I just want to add on that. Like we spoke about it after the movie finished. That it did a good job. Like what he said about satisfying the old fans for that nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was a good bridge to bring in a new generation of fans.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna admit something. After watching this movie twice, for the past week, all I've been doing is watching interviews with the cast. And look, I was over the other night, and I wanted to see all the suits from the entire.
We spent half an hour watching
from the entire history of Power Rangers. I'm just interested now.
You're in it.
I'm interested in the franchise. It got me hooked.
And that's what the goal was,
I think
right?
they did a good job of doing that.
So. We spent 30 minutes watching every single morph from the history from Mighty Morphin up until Ninja Steel, which is on right now. So, so this is it. Spoiler alert. From here on out, we're gonna start going in depth about the characters, about what's going on in the movie, and what we think is gonna happen after the movie. We're gonna talk about Easter eggs, and keep going on and on. So, fair warning. Click out now if you don't want to hear anything beyond this. So, I'm gonna start off by saying what I liked in terms of from a Ranger fan's perspective, in terms of what they did for me nostalgically, and what I didn't like for the same reasons. What I liked, each 5 Rangers, Jason, Trini, Zach, Billy, and Kimberly, they are so different from the original 5 Rangers, but yet they're the same.
Yeah.
Those elements of them that you're watching, you're like, holy crap, like Jason, like is Jason, like he's still Jason, but yet he's not. He's a bit of a in the movie. Obviously, for whoever's still listening who has watched it, he gets into trouble, some legal trouble. In the show, he was a goody two shoe. Did his homework, never was late for anything, martial artist, blah blah blah. This Jason wasn't, but there was just something about the two Jasons that I felt were the same person. Like the Dacre Montgomery did a phenomenal job portraying what Austin St. John did almost 25 years ago now. Same thing for Billy, R.J. Kyler, who did a good job with Billy representing what David Yost did again 24 years ago. Same thing with the Trini character between Becky G and Thuy Trang. Kimberly between Naomi Scott and Amy Jo Johnson, and Zach between Ludi Lin and Walter Jones. So again, this is from a Ranger fan perspective. It's me talking just on my own opinion. Were they the same characters? Absolutely not. They were the furthest thing from it. But I'm saying the essence,
They had
the core.
they had like certain elements.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Paid homage to the
Exactly. There was just something about it. They gave off some vibe that it was just very well written and extremely well acted. Considering these guys are mostly all new and relatively unknown people.
Well,
and one thing,
if you don't mind, just because they one thing I liked is all the characters were unique in the sense where like in the original show they all were like this like perfect ideal like person, you know, like
yeah,
great student, athletic, you know, jack, they're beautiful, whatever, you know, and they do their homework, they do community
well,
service.
to be fair, the girls in this one are really hot.
Yeah,
like
whatever.
they're way better looking than Twee Chang and Amy Jo. I'm sorry, as
Okay,
much as
well.
they were both pretty girls back then. These two, Becky G and Naomi Scott, are gorgeous girls in my opinion.
Putting that aside, I think that what was interesting is that they all kind of like had their own issues that they had to overcome. It wasn't as if they were just like, oh look,
No, but
I'm
that's
a
what I'm-
perfect person and I'm
Exactly.
a Power Ranger now.
they
It's
were-
like they all had to deal with their
Yeah,
internal
but
and
that-
external
and-
conflicts to become a Power Ranger.
Exactly.
They were
saw the
actually
growth. Teenagers with attitude.
Exactly, which they never mention.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. Okay, let me
a
skip
good
this
point.
up because I'm taking on a little bit long. But that's a good point. What you were saying back to them being basically delinquents and screw ups. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Another thing I liked about the movie was in terms of nostalgic facts. I'm gonna spoil it here for you. When they come out in the Zords, the original Power Ranger movie theme played, which I thought was a perfect touch.
That was a nice touch.
No one expected it. I freaked out. I got goosebumps all 4 times I saw it. It was beautiful. Do I feel like maybe the original show theme would have been better? Maybe. But either way, I'm happy they put it in there. It was great. What else was nostalgic? When Rita said, "Let my monster grow," when Goldar was growing, that was amazing. Great on her.
It's morphin time.
It's Morphin Time was great. Even though I'll this will be one of my cons. I do wish they emphasized a little bit more on it. Like
Yeah.
Jason said, it's Morphin Time. You know, the way Austin St. John did, the way JDF did back in the day.
I think that'll come.
I hope so. I'm hoping one theory I have for the next movie is, you know, the way RJ or Billy told Jason or the guys when they were in their Megazord that this is like a Mamazord. Oh no, wait, it's a Megazord.
Yeah.
Imagine, I was hoping in the movie, but maybe in the second one he'll say, "Hey, Jason, remember when you said it's Morphin Time? How about we use that as our catchphrase every time we do it? Like it's kind of like a joke, but it becomes serious
I
as they
can see
do
that,
use
yeah.
it.
I can see
You know,
that.
it's a little playful thing that people laugh at, but it actually is something cool. I hope they do something like that for the next one. So that's kind of a con, but not really. Rita, Elizabeth Banks, she did a great job with the role. A lot of people complain about it. 2 of my friends complain about it, Franco and Eric. They thought she was a little too over the top. I completely disagree with that. She played the role perfectly. She wanted to re-portray the original Rita in her own way, which she did great. And yes, was it kind of out of tone with the rest of the movie, but I don't understand when Thanos is up in the heavens and we never see him for any of the Marvel movies besides in the end credits, and he's just this giant thing breathing in space with a golden glove with a bunch of fucking amulets on it. That's not over the top, but Rita acting like a heroin addict and someone who
Yeah.
legitimately scares the shit out of me if I saw them on the street. That though,
I
that's too over the top for these
It
people.
made her like unique to your typical like sinister villain. Like,
Exactly.
it's just something different.
It was over the top,
at
but
the
it
same
needed
time,
to be.
Again, she was playing the
Exactly.
Rita
And I have a fan theory, and I'm gonna get to it later on why I think she was like that and how I think Tommy is gonna come into play for that. So that's another thing that I love that she did. And just overall, the movie was great. It was fun. It like I said, it did what it needed to do. Would I have preferred maybe a little more action, a little more suit fighting, maybe not so much jumping to the Zords as soon as they get out?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But this movie wasn't perfect. It wasn't supposed to be perfect, and no movie is. Let's be honest. And this is nitpicking. I'm trying really hard to find stuff wrong with this
Yeah.
movie. Other people find it easier. Again, this is my Ranger bias, probably speaking. I don't know if it is, but the movie was great, and it did what it needed to do, and we're all excited for a sequel, and that's the most important thing. The guy who was force-fed Power Rangers, who didn't even really want to see this movie, and I forced him to come, enjoyed it, and wants a sequel. The guy who never watched Power Rangers up until lately, since he was a kid, now wants a sequel. You know what I mean? Like this is what this movie did and needed to do, and it was great. So that's my perspective on it. What else is there? There's the opening scene when Zordon is the Red Ranger and Rita's the Green Ranger.
that
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of expected it because they kind of leaked it out and there was a lot of rumors about it. But when I saw Rita wearing the Green Ranger suit, I started getting goosebumps. In regard to the suit, and again I'm talking fast just because I want to get through this as fast as possible so we can start talking about real stuff beyond the movie, which I think is a little more interesting. I'm sad that there was no gold on Rita's suit. Didn't look like there was any gold. And they released a picture of her helmet. I'll throw up a picture if I could on the YouTube version right now. There was like some gray silver thing on her helmet, and it doesn't look like there's gonna be any gold. The pop vinyl figure came out, no gold on that either. So kind of disappointed with that. But again, I have a really cool theory for that one too, for the second movie with Tommy. So I'm gonna keep that till later. But her being in the suit was awesome. Didn't expect it. And Zordon in the Red Ranger suit, I thought was awesome. I thought that was really cool. Really nice touch. Him being the original Red Ranger. The ship being the command center, and them not calling it the command center. I wish they kind of did. That would have been cool. I wish when they morphed, we kind of got an original morphing sequence the way they did in the show.
Maybe it will turn into the command center then.
Hey, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe Tommy destroys it the way he does in the show, and then they establish some other point somewhere in Angel Grove that becomes the command center.
They kind of know where it is because the putties, is that what they're called?
Yeah, exactly. The putties went in, right? Yeah, exactly. So there you go. So maybe there's that.
And the putties were actually, formidable.
The putties were badass.
Not just a bunch of people with like
a
big X on their chest saying "Hit me here and you will win."
Yeah, but that's the source of their power, Michael.
Yeah,
but that's only Lord Zed's putties.
You can put it on their head.
But that's only Lord Zed's
their
putties.
hands.
Rita's putties didn't have that, and Zed's putties were stronger than Rita's. So
no, they definitely were not. Because every time I watched it, they just disintegrated when a person laid a finger on it. So, anyways, I like that aspect of it though, that they're actually strong and they had to work.
Yeah.
In the pit.
Yeah. The pit scene was cool. The training scene. I felt some people wanted some more action in that scene. I felt like that would have been nice, but I felt like we should have got a perspective of how much time was going by in that scene.
Well, they kind of did though.
Well, when the Red Ranger was scratching the thing,
but had 11 days, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't really emphasize on the importance. It was kind of like a coincidence at the end that everything worked out the way it did. What else? The Megazord. Let's talk about the Megazord and the Zords themselves. Let's talk about the Zords individually. All 5 Zords. I love them. I thought they were badass. I wasn't happy at the beginning. When the pictures first came out of the Triceratops and the Mastodon Zords having multiple legs, like looking like spiders. Wasn't a big fan of that at the beginning, but they didn't really talk about it in the movie, and they look great in the movie. And the director's reasoning for it was that when they were doing the animation for it, the CGI while making the movie, it looked unnatural that they were moving that fast. But they're that bulky and they only have 4 legs. Yeah. So his idea was when aliens design these Zords, they're going to want to put more legs on it, even though it's not true to the animal's actual biology or anatomy. So that was his. So I thought I was happy with it in the final product in the movie of how the Zords looked were phenomenal. What did you guys think?
I thought they were initially going to be a bit bigger. They were smaller than
they
I
were
thought.
Smaller. Which
like when they get into the cockpit, you see like how not that it's small, but like compared to the show, those toys look
exactly
like massive.
Yeah.
But then like when you see them fighting with it, you get to see like the purpose of it. And
when you see Goldar, he has to like lean down to like push on them and punch them. He's so, like going
as they use their Zords to fight him. I was fine with it. I mean, it served its purpose.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the design, like that Transformer-ish
I have no problem
design? Which, by the way, good on them for writing in. Sorry, Bumblebee.
Just to save themselves from getting those stupid criticisms.
Yeah, but you know what? It was Transformers-esque, but at the same time, it was different.
But you can't really not have that comparison just because Transformers came first. But if it was the opposite, Transformers would get the Power Ranger reference.
If they would have made it look like cheap plastic, they would have got criticized.
Exactly, it would have been something would have been wrong.
I thought it was good. I thought that they had like dirt on it too. It wasn't just like a pristine.
Yeah, when we first saw, they're all like dusty and everything.
Yeah, and
like they haven't been used.
And what I like is like when we first saw them, we saw that it was in like this, like I guess you could call it like a mountain or whatever you want to call it. And then like I think when the was the Black Ranger. He kind of went through the mountain and like was playing around with it.
Oh,
He shouldn't
yeah.
have. Like
That's
you actually
funny.
saw like instead of like in the show, it's just like these explosions happen, just emerges from the earth like
Yeah.
you know, like, and then it's like, oh, well, no one could find it out. Like here, you could kind of see like where they're hiding it.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you could see like, okay, like this is where they
It's
get-
in like an actual like a
hiding
station, not like the Pink Ranger Zord comes out of a volcano and
yeah,
the
like,
Mastodon comes out of the fucking like the Arctic.
yeah,
like-
like I don't understand,
yeah.
like I didn't understand that. So like at least, well, I mean, I know it's a kid show, whatever.
No, but because in Zoo Danger they came from like the heavens, and that was like their domain. That's why.
Okay, I guess,
So they had to use that stock footage.
I get, yeah, I guess, but like I said, I just like the fact that they implemented that.
Yeah.
It made it definitely more interesting, and made it like more realistic. So I really like that part of the Zords.
But one thing that people have criticized is how easily they handled the Zords, like that idiot Chris Stuckman.
Yeah.
Which I usually don't mind his reviews. His opinion's not bad, but his review on Power Rangers was just terrible. He was saying other people. I've read a lot of comments saying that how can they do it so easily? Zordon said at the beginning when they first, or either Zordon or Alpha, I can't remember which one. When they first showed the Zords, when you morph, you will become one with your Zords. When you morph is the key term. Zack got in his Mastodon Zord and lost control of it because he wasn't morphed.
I think.
Yeah,
what, I think what messed people up is when Billy was like, "Oh, I don't know what to press," but like, I don't know.
Yeah, but he did in the end.
But he did.
Because
He
it
did
was
then.
almost as if
Yeah.
it's
It
not
was
like
like
he didn't
instinctive.
control it.
It was
Exactly. It's as if he just knew.
And maybe his autism might have put a factor in
That too, yeah, exactly. No, but in general, look, how did Kimberly know how to fucking shoot the guns and?
No,
But
I
at
know
the same time, yes, they knew how to do it. But like you said, they're figuring it out. So it wasn't like they're like, oh, I know how to do this and this and this and this. Yes, they knew how to drive it, which is instinctive, and they knew. Oh, but then like I don't know what this button does, but instinctively because they morphed and because their Power Rangers kind of like destiny.
Yeah, but they also had that
know-
thing go on their back when they morphed.
Yeah, exactly. So
and
it,
pulled in.
it kind of like
Connected their minds almost,
with the
right?
Zord. Yeah, exactly.
But then
So-
Chris Stuckman's like, oh, but then he didn't know what button to press. It's like, yeah, but he did in the end. He just
Yeah,
didn't
but
know
that-
like
that
specifically
was, like-
this is the button, but he knew like it's like
Instinctively, yeah.
when a cat knows how to go into the litter box. You don't train it; it just happens. They
Exactly.
know.
That was like his main argument, but like
Yeah.
if you listen to the first line, and he's like, you'll
Yeah, exactly.
when you morph, you'll connect with.
Yeah,
your Zord.
exactly. So, and how do you feel about the Megazord? That humanoid
well,
look without like it's not multicolored. You see hints of the other Ranger stuff,
Well,
but it's mostly gray.
I mean, I didn't really care that much for how it looked, but one thing I will say is that I liked how they emphasized on how they needed to, in like a really funny way, they had to
Work together.
they had to be synchronized
Yeah.
to use it, because it wasn't just as easy as like like I said, I always go back to the show where they're just like, wow, look here, we're Power Rangers, we can
Power
do-"
sword, and then
Exactly.
it's just like one shot killed.
Yeah, so it's like what, you know, like these guys had to struggle and they had to, you know, time it, and you even saw at the end in the final blow where he shot the knife into Goldar,
Yeah.
the sword, sorry. You had to see the Red Ranger's job was basically to lead and coordinate the attacks,
Exactly.
whereas and he dealt the final blow, but without the sum of the parts,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be able to do that. So it kind of shows that they all needed each other in the end, and that they all had to be coordinated to do so. It wasn't just
Exactly.
like some easy task.
Together, we are more.
Exactly.
Right? The catchphrase of
I
the movie.
told you after the movie, I found it was cool how they were each controlling a
Yeah.
limb, and I guess
Look, my issue with it is that I felt like, first of all, the Zord look in general, I didn't love it. I felt like it's a little too humanoid-ish, which I
Yeah.
get, but one thing that I had a problem with was the cop-out of how it formed, where they went into the Zeo Crystal pit,
yeah.
and they came out, which I get, it was kind of like the force of the Zeo Crystal, the energy, plus the power of their teamwork made that happen. I get it, that's
you want
fine.
to see how it actually
Exactly, because
comes together.
because it looks so humanoid
Yeah.
that like you're questioning like how does these bulky robotic Zords turn into that? You know, like you want to see how it came together, and you didn't really get that. I don't get why it has a face if they're not all in the face. I'm not a huge fan of them being on each limb. So if like you just cut off, like if you just punch that one area where their cockpit is, like are they dead? Whereas if you all put them into the face, they're gonna try and protect that one area, right? So they never
Yeah.
get hit. So I feel like maybe for the sequel, they go up to Zordon and say, hey, can we do some renovations on this thing? Because there's a head there, but yet they're not doing anything with that face. I would have wished it was a little more multicolor. I'm not a huge fan of it being fully gray. I like that the pterodactyl Zord is finally the wings / swords and not the chest plate, because it served no purpose. I like that it's pink and not red, because in the show it's red because they want to sell toys to boys. That's the whole point of it. No kid's gonna want to buy a pink thing. Now, that's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Even now, I'm 24 years old, and I'm a little more hesitant to buy the Pink Ranger stuff than I have to buy the red, green, blue, white, and black. And then, I'm not sexist. I'm a guy, and I want guy things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna go out and wear a flower dress either. Right? Again, and whatever. So I'm happy they put more pink in the Zord, in the pterodactyl Zord. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to with that. But in general, the Zord, I like the teamwork. I like the coordination. I just wish they were in a cockpit altogether. Would have made more sense to me. And I wish that we got to see how it came together.
Yeah.
Hopefully next movie we do.
No, hopefully. I think they'll show.
Yeah.
This shit.
And what else is there to talk about within the framework of the movie? Let's talk about the ending. Let's talk about one very special Easter egg, actually. At the end, when the Rangers have won. Actually, let's talk about Rita. Let's talk about Rita when she gets bitch slapped into space, basically.
Team Rocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Blast off.
And Team Rocket's blasting off again, exactly. So the Rangers bitch slapped Rita into space. She's obviously not dead. If she could survive 65 million years in water, she's obviously not dead. Right? Exactly. And there was a moon in the background, which I didn't notice the first time, which I hate myself for not noticing that. Adamo pointed that out to me.
How did you not notice that?
I had no idea. I was just so caught up in the moment.
Especially the first time you were watching. I'm sure like.
Yeah, I think I was just trying to see if she had her staff. If somewhere I could see the green coin to know if Tommy was gonna be in the next one. So, so the moon was there. So that's obviously where she's going, and we'll get into fan theories about that in a second. What did you guys think of her getting slapped? Because a lot of people didn't like that.
I didn't have a problem with it.
It serves its purpose, right? It set up something more. She's not dead. She'll be back. Will she be back for the sequel? Maybe, but she's definitely going to be back at some point. And Elizabeth Banks said she's down for whatever with this movie. She'll do whatever they ask because she has so much fun playing the role. She's down for whatever. So I'm very happy with that.
I don't understand why people are so upset about that.
Because they reminded them of Team Rocket, and it was like so bitch slap. It's like, you know what? But that's the playfulness of the movie.
Again, it's Power Rangers.
Exactly. It's like it's with anything. I'm sorry. The Marvel movies to me are just as playful as the Power Ranger movie. They have those cheap jokes, and yes, Captain America's a little more serious than maybe Jason is, the two leaders of their respective teams. But I'm sorry, the Marvel universe is very playful too. There's a lot of those cheap jokes and those stupidities that come in. Power Rangers maybe a little bit more because it's for kids.
I didn't have a problem with it, to be honest. I thought like I said, it touched upon the old school Power Ranger type of tradition of being playful and it being lighthearted, to some degree. And what I liked is that they said that they're gonna bring you to Zord, and then he will
Zordon.
Exactly. Then he will see what your fate is, and like
the judge.
Like it kind of showed that like they're not like killers, and like they're there to like just stop evil or whatever. It's kind of cheesy, but stop evil. But don't kill it. Like give it, like they're not the judge of this person.
Exactly.
Type of
they're
thing.
just like
they're just there
to do the job.
Exactly. So like I find like that was cool. Is that like they gave her a chance.
And they understand that Zordon is the like the true, not leader but the mentor. You know,
he understands the whole scenario.
He's like the boss.
Yeah. Like what if they killed her? Like what if Zordon wanted like information?
Exactly.
What if he wanted to give her a second chance? Like
exactly.
Like we don't know these things, but I'm glad that you kind of saw her be frozen in space. So you knew that she's not gonna die, type of thing. So
because I mean it's set up in a way where we could see her or we could never see her. Either way.
I think we will. Like it's going to the moon.
I think
we will. But I'm just saying if they ever decide to not do it or the franchise just stops making movies. Because then you can say, well, Rita just kept drifting in space, and then that was
there's a reason why they put the moon in back of her.
Exactly, right?
They could have easily just left her in space with the stars in the background, and that's it.
Yeah. What else is there to talk about? Okay, it's the Easter egg. Tommy and Kimberly, Amy Jo, and JDF taking pictures of the Megazord at the end after they defeat her. That was a super special moment for me. I freaked out all 4 times I saw it. I kind of wish they had a better cameo, a little more place to play, but I'm just happy they're there.
I was wondering when it was going to come in. Cause
the whole time I was paying attention to it.
Like, okay, when is this guy going to show up?
Yeah, I was really hoping JDF would be Tommy. I'm not going to lie. I really wanted to reprise his role.
That wouldn't have happened.
But that changed after I saw the movie. I was so happy with what they did. Because I was so nervous that they would screw it up that I felt like JDF would have to save it by being in there. Whereas they did such a good job that I don't care if JDF's in it.
Yeah, it was
in
good.
that role.
It was a nice touch for the fans.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Look,
and a lot of people didn't even notice Kimberly or Amy Jo. A lot of people just saw JDF. And all
JDF.
4 times I screamed in the theater, Kimberly is there too! Because if not, nobody would have paid attention.
I think JDF just...
Yeah,
well, I knew
catches
right
your
away.
eye.
Yeah, because you've seen her and you've been force-fed her, where a lot of fans know JDF just because Tommy was everyone's favorite. No one really remembers Kimberly.
But I will say that I do wish that not a longer, I guess, sequence that like I felt like the length was perfect, but I just wish that like he would have said like "Attaboy" or something like that, like giving kind of like a hint that I was a Power
like
Ranger
passing
too.
of the torch sort of
Kind
thing.
yeah, like I think like because then they're just like kind of like outsiders, like look, a Power
They're
Ranger.
just civilians in Angel Grove.
And like yes, it's cool in that sense, but it kind of like I thought it would have been way better, and it would have again touched on that the diehards and would have been like, here you go,
Exactly.
this is your moment.
Yeah.
It's their moment now, type of thing. So like, I felt like it would have been a good touch if he would have said like "Attaboy" or like just like one line, like it just a couple words, like nothing crazy, just like something like that. It would have been. I thought it would have been a little bit well done, a little bit better.
Yeah, apparently they filmed 2 cameos. One got cut off with JDF having long hair. Hopefully we'll get in a deleted scene when the DVD/Blu-ray comes out. But I'm happy they're just in it. And apparently the reason why they brought Amy Jo and JDF in it and not the other ones is just because the director felt they're the most important characters. They're the most memorable. Jason David Frank, Tommy, is the most legendary Ranger of all time. Whether you like it or not, he's in the most episodes, he has the most powers, and I'm a fanboy, I don't give a shit. Saban treated him like what he is. If in the lore of what Power Rangers is, he's been called the greatest Ranger of all time by actual Rangers in the show, in certain episodes. So whether you agree with it or not, that's what he was called. So he's in it. Amy Jo, the original Pink Ranger, the love interest of Tommy, she had to be in it. She just, I was.
And
just
the more memorable girl Ranger would always be the Pink.
Yeah, and not just that, but I feel like those two look most like they used to look. Walter Jones would have been that other guy.
She was everyone's first crush.
Exactly. Whereas Austin St. John and David Yost don't really look much like they used to.
Yeah, I guess like
they kind of aged a bit.
They're 2 of the all-stars, and everybody else is kind of like the supporting cast.
Exactly.
It kind of reinforcing.
Yeah.
Yes, they're all part of the team, but at the same time, those 3 were more of the supporting role, whereas those 2 got the more screen time.
Okay, so now I want to talk about Krispy Kreme.
Oh yeah.
The life source, the source of all life on earth, as Rita put it, which I love that because I love Krispy Kreme. And yes, apparently they said it 7 times, and there was 7 clear shots of Krispy Kreme. Huge product placement. Clearly, they had a huge influence on this movie and like the money that was put into it. Obviously, people complained that Krispy Kreme was the source of it because the Zeo crystal was buried underneath it. Obviously, so people weren't happy that they were saying like, "Oh, she found Krispy Kreme," instead of saying, "Oh, she found the crystal" or something like that. I thought it was fine. It was playful. It was fun. It served its purpose. Was it a little bit maybe too much on the joking side? Sure, but we all knew what they were going for. She doesn't know what Krispy Kreme is, so that's how she would reference it.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that. So stop thinking with your head shoved up your ass and think like a rational human being and not like a stupid critic, because most of you are not. You're not critics. You're barely educated. For all the haters, for all the Ranger fans out there, much love. So yeah, I thought Krispy Kreme was fine. Maybe 1 or 2 less times to reference it, sure, but it is what it is, and it was fine.
It's product placement. It's not the first time we'll see it. It's not the last time.
Exactly.
And one thing I will say is that this happens all the time, where like the high climax of the movie, like near the end, where something, and then like you just hear like a person in a store, and you just hear when
Rita was eating the donuts.
Exactly, the music in the store, and then everything's destroying, and then like a person has like headphones on, you just hear them like
exactly. That happens. How many Stan Lee cameos are like that?
Exactly.
Where she's just like a bystander, and like then there's like a foot falls and like or a brick falls and like almost kills him. Like,
but he doesn't realize
exactly, and he's like, and he takes off his headphones. He's like, "Oh, what happened?" Because maybe it wasn't a product placement for like a restaurant, but it was clearly like placed for that song that he was listening to.
Yeah,
right?
like that's what I'm saying, is that like yes, I think it could have been a little bit better done in some regard. I felt like I wasn't like too turned off by it, but I was just like, but in the end, like it was And I'm thinking about it, I'm like,
There's
it's not a
background
bad
stuff.
it's not a bad thing because it's Power Rangers.
It was meant to not be taken so seriously.
Exactly.
But yet serious at the same time. It had
Exactly.
it just
It
it
had
was
its
playful.
jokes. It had its playful
Exactly.
jokes, and when it needed to be serious, it was serious.
Exactly. Okay, now let's get to the touchy subjects before we get into the fan theories. Fast. I'm just gonna touch on it very lightly. R.J. Kyler, aka Billy Cranston, aka Billy Cramps Tons, because he crams a bunch of crayons up his butt.
Yeah.
And Becky G, aka Trini or Trini, because in the movie they say Trini or Dee Dee. Yeah, her name is Dee Dee. that was Zach when Jason asked who she is.
What's the proper way is Trini, right?
Trini was the way they called her in the show. Zordon called her Trini every time Bryan Cranston called her Trini, but all the other Rangers called her Trini. So I guess it's just a play on how you pronounce it. Who gives a shit? But what I want to talk about is the autism that Billy has in the show, and the
Lesbian reference.
Trini being a potential lesbian. I mean, she is.
Or bi.
Or bi, whatever. So I, at first, not that I wasn't a fan of it, not that I'm anti-homophobic or whatever. I'm none of that crap. I just didn't. It felt forced when they announced it. I would have felt better if I didn't hear about it prior, and I just saw it in the movie play out.
Yeah.
Because the way they did it in the movie was perfect. It's just a part of who they are. The Rangers found out, especially with Trini, when Zach said girlfriend troubles, she didn't have to say anything. They all just read it in her sarcasm, and that's how they became real friends.
Yeah.
That's how she realized that these people understand me, that she didn't have to say it. Her family never understood it, but she did. But they did, sorry. So I just didn't like that the producers announced it in advance. It made it feel like it was forced, but the way the movie played it out was perfect.
Yeah.
I don't mind that one is gay or lesbian. I don't have no issue with that whatsoever. They did it perfectly fine. It was very subtle. She just said it, and then they left it at that because it wasn't forced. I hope we see more of that. I hope if she has a girlfriend in the next movie, I'm 100% okay with it. Like, just be subtle with it. Don't make it like a huge big deal.
No,
because that's when things get forced.
The way they did it, I find, was well done. They didn't have to say it for you to understand it. And I found that they also left it open where I think that since obviously the Black Ranger was into her, that I think that they left it open that maybe there's a potential love affair there.
Yeah, potentially.
And I thought, like, I was kind of like rooting for him. I'm like, oh, go get her type of thing. And he was trying, and he was always kind of getting rejected in some way. But I think eventually, as the movies progress, I think you will see a love affair. Because I think it's a reference not to her being lesbian, but her being bi. That's what I think.
Potentially, it could be.
Because I think she's
because one thing also with teenagers is they're confused, right? They don't really know what they are. It's not often. Yes, there are those people that know basically from when they're very young, but most of the time people are just confused. They don't really know what they are. They think they're one or they think they're the other. She could be on the fence. But regardless, the point I'm trying to make here is that I thought they did a really good job with it. They, like you said, they kind of left it open, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, I hope I get casted as Tommy so I could get into a relationship with her because Becky G is fucking beautiful. But that's just besides the point. That's my own personal reasoning for it. And going back to Billy now, again, very subtle. He he has something wrong with him. He has some sort of he's on the spectrum, some form of autism, and it wasn't a big deal. He didn't need, they didn't make it a big stink like, he has a special caretaker and he has this.
No,
and he has that.
They never had to say it. They just you just saw it. And
Well, they said at the beginning when he was with Jason. He said, "I'm on the spectrum."
Yeah.
But that was it. That was the only reference we heard of it. We know he's smart. He's abnormally smart, and there's something wrong with him. But that was it. It didn't change who he was or how people accepted him, which is how things are in real life. When someone comes out of the closet and says they're gay, people don't say like, "Oh, I mean, it does happen because people are idiots," but most of the time, if you're a real friend with someone, you don't, like, ostracize them and be like, oh, we're not talking to you ever again because we don't like your kind. Like, there are people like that, but most real friends and real human beings aren't. Yeah, he's like, okay, that's cool. Whatever, dude, do your thing. So that's how they were in this one. Billy had some sort of mental issue, and Trini is supposedly lesbian. So, big deal. They're friends, and it doesn't define who they are.
Yeah. It just adds to the depth of their character.
Exactly.
I think even the cast spoke about it, how it can make the fans feel connected.
Exactly.
It gives I think Becky said her brother has. I could be mistaken, but I think she said her brother has autism, and she found that it was cool that he can say, "Hey, I can be like." the Blue
Yeah,
Ranger."
exactly. Because it made it give him more reason.
Without it shoving it down
your
our
throat.
throats.
Exactly.
I could be wrong, but I think she said that.
Yeah, possible. I don't know.
She could have.
I don't know. I didn't. Maybe. But anyways, I loved all the characters. Becky G, Trini was probably one of my favorite. Jason, Billy, another two of my favorites. The one I didn't really connect as much with was Zach.
But there wasn't a lot of emphasis put on
Exactly. He was kind of like the only guy didn't really get a lot of screen time in terms of his background. But I think that was kind of done on purpose.
But he's also a bit more of a straightforward character.
Exactly. He's
where
like
his
the lone
mother's
wolf.
sick.
Exactly. Like that's all that's wrong with him. And one thing I will say, fast, because we're already 40 minutes into this, and I want to get to the fan theories. One thing I will say is the one thing that people didn't like about the Power Ranger movie and how they all just accepted they were Rangers. I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but the second time I saw it, and it got enforced even more the third and fourth time, was they went and trained because they hated their lives. They were miserable.
Yeah.
They had no friends. They were ostracized by their peers, by their community. They screwed up, and they had nowhere to go. Trini and Zach were never in school because they didn't like it. Jason was hated by his whole community. Kimberly lost her best friends over nude pictures, and Billy just could never make friends because he was different. And they came because that's all they had. And then eventually they all became such good friends that they were willing to die for each other, and that's how they morphed. So that's why they did it. Read between the goddamn lines, guys. Pay attention, stop being a bitch, and stop hating on a good movie. Alright.
Wait, I have one more thing. One more little reference. Let's make a band.
Let's make a band. Now, I don't know. Is that a
yeah.
Lemonade Mouth reference? Because I don't know.
That was my initial reaction.
It is.
It has to be, right?
Because she threw it.
Exactly. So I'm assuming that's a Lemonade Mouth reference. And for those who don't know, Lemonade Mouth is a Disney movie that came out 2012, I think, 2011, and it was a very good movie. Naomi Scott is in it, and it's a good movie. It's a fun little, it's a kid movie, but it's fun.
You said that, right? We should make a band.
Yeah, or let's make a band or something.
Let's make a band, yeah.
Okay, now let's move to the ending, and then we'll get into the fan theories because this all connects. The end credit scene. Tommy Oliver was announced.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
I freaked out because Tommy is my favorite character, green or white. I don't mind. I love him as the White Ranger more, but I'm good with the character of Tommy. I love JDF. Rumors are going around that the cast wants Tommy to be a girl.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
For me, it's not anything that I have against, I guess gender equality or stuff like that. It's not anything like that. To me, it's more of his name is Tommy. And
apparently
Tommy
some people say that that there's girl versions of that.
And you if you're they're like if it like for example, if the Blue Ranger in this movie was a girl, they would already go against the traditional Power Ranger type of setup. But they didn't, and they kept it the same. So if you're gonna keep that the same, you might as well keep the Green Ranger the same.
Yeah,
because
the cast wants it to be equal.
Three girls.
Three girls.
I get that, but if you're gonna do it, you should have done that from the beginning.
That's exactly. And you know what I say? Either way, Trini's lesbian, right? So it's not like they're each gonna be dating each other. She's gonna be with someone else outside the group, right? If that's what they go with. No, I'm saying, but if that's what they're going with, you know what I mean? So it doesn't really make a difference in terms of couples and whatever like that. My issue with it is just like you said, Tommy's a guy, and he's always been a guy, and it's not just that he's a guy. Tommy in the show is the most legendary Ranger of all time. And yes, this is something else completely different. I get it. People are going to say, oh, it's 2017. It is. And JDF said it himself. It's 2017. They can do whatever they want, and people are going to end up liking it. I'll probably end up liking it. I'll probably accept it. I just don't think it needs it.
No.
I don't see a reason
that
for
I
it.
think is force feeding.
Exactly. And again, I'm not sexist because Trini is one of my favorite characters in the whole movie. And I thought her story for some reason got to me more than anybody else's for whatever reason. So I'm not sexist. It's just the matter of Tommy is Tommy, and I'm sorry, I don't know any girls named Tommy. And yes, there's girls that have guys' names sometimes and whatever, but it doesn't need it. It really doesn't need it.
He's such a legendary character. They just it's like they have
exactly.
to.
And if you want your girl Green Ranger, you had Rita. She was your girl Green Ranger. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. And it's okay. So let's move on from that. Let's get into some fan theories. Okay. I'll just hold up for a second while I open my phone. Now, actually, I'll get to mine first. Before I read these. First thing is, what's the second movie going to be about? So obviously, it's going to be about Tommy, right? That's going to be the main focus. Girl or guy, it's going to be about Tommy. He's somehow going to get the Green Ranger coin, which did not float float off into space with Rita. It stayed on Earth. We didn't see what happened to it after. Now, he's gonna get it. Now, here's my cool theory, because like I said earlier, she doesn't have any gold on her suit, Rita, right? When she was the Green Ranger, there's no gold. This is how Tommy gets his dragon shield. Rita has a staff. She can mold it into whatever she wants. Tommy says, I don't need a staff. I'm going to make armor. He puts a dragon shield made of gold.
From the show, or this is your
No, this
theory?
is my theory.
Oh, okay.
How crazy would that be if he's like, I don't need this. He takes it and he puts a gold shield on him.
I think that's really cool.
That's badass.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Exactly, it's badass. I thought about that while watching it for the third time. I think that'd be badass. I think it'd be crazy. And it's a use of her gold, right? Maybe he doesn't need to summon Goldar, because then for sure there needs to be the Dragon Zord. It was in the coin. The Dragon Zord needs to be in the next movie. And going back to that, and why Rita looks like she's a huge heroin addict, like homeless, crazy person. Why was she so crazy, and why was she so over the top? I think either the coin or the gold is like possessed by some sort of evil, and that's why she's crazy. And I think Tommy, how does he become evil? He gets the coin, and it starts possessing him, and he becomes egotistical, like a maniac, and that's how he becomes evil. And then there's a love affair between him and Kimberly, which starts the rivalry between Jason and Tommy. You know, see how all these things are playing out? And here is my theory, and again, I'm going very, very fast, and I apologize, for how the second movie should start. The Rangers should become almost like celebrities. They should just be like, the superheroes that saved Angel Grove, and they should, you'll see them start to Jason will morph to stop a thief who stole from a dépanneur or a convenience store. He stole a woman's purse. He's a mugger. So Jason morphs and he goes and saves the guy. So now the Rangers have this great reputation.
Yeah.
They're kind of like celebrities. No one knows who they are. They're not taking off their masks, but the Rangers themselves have become celebrities. Tommy becomes the Green Ranger. He morphs and he's walking around Angel Grove, and then the little kid's like, "Oh my God, look, Mommy, it's a Power Ranger." He starts destroying shit. He starts ruining their reputation. That's how that begins.
Yeah.
Who is this? Who is this other Ranger that we've never seen before? Is Rita back? No one knows what's going on. But there's another Ranger ruining their reputation, destroying everything, and now the Rangers are being blamed for it. And they're trying to redeem themselves by trying to save the day and saving Tommy potentially.
He's being that badass at school.
Exactly.
Hitting on the Pink Ranger.
Exactly.
Creating a love triangle.
Not just okay. Obviously he was found in detention, right? That's how the movie ended. The end credits scene. So obviously he has that attitude the way the other ones do. But he's not arrogant. He's not like a piece of shit. But he becomes that with the coin. For whatever reason, either Rita makes him evil, the coin makes him evil, or potentially Lord Zed makes him evil. Now here's another fan theory. Lord Zed comes to the moon or stumbles upon Rita somehow in space, deems her not good enough to be the Green Ranger, gives it to Tommy.
Yeah,
that could be badass too, right? And here's a theory. Again, I'm going a million miles an hour. I'm jumping around like crazy just because I really want to get this out, because we're really running out of time. Tommy is losing his powers because it's still connected to Rita somehow, right? She's not dead. So she still has, when she went up to space, she didn't wear her black clothes. She was still wearing her green armor or whatever it was, right? So Tommy finds the coin because it needs a host. She still has some of the power, so he's losing his power. You understand? Because it's still feeding her lifeline, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's splitting the...
Which makes him lose the power and then becomes the White Ranger. These are all cool theories. Again, I just mentioned 4 or 5 at the top of my head. These are stuff I thought of on my own. Now I'll jump onto stuff that I read online about what fans are saying. Okay, so here you go. This is what one guy wrote on Facebook. He said, the Power Coins choose their wielder in this reboot, right? Red Ranger, they all got chosen, right? Yeah. At the end of the movie, Jason tells Rita to surrender her staff and the coin to them. He says, I don't remember if the green staff was with Rita in space, but it wasn't. We've confirmed that. Now, what if Tommy gets his hands on the green coin, but the coin rejects him since Rita is still alive? So who does the coin choose? This would explain why he'd be losing his powers in the reboot, just like he did in the original. Later, though, through whatever means, Tommy could be chosen by the white coin, which Zordon claims was long lost a while ago, or something like that. Another theory could be that Tommy could claim the Green Ranger power on his own, leaving the white to be a different Ranger altogether. This guy's saying Zordon could come back, gain the power, or whatever. I think Tommy should be both. That's just my opinion. He goes from evil to good, and that's why I have a theory also where if Tommy gets the Green Ranger power, he should only be evil. Keep him as evil and make him turn good with the power of the White Ranger.
I think I prefer that route. If they, instead of having two separate Rangers, they're green and the white.
Yeah, then there's 7 individual people in one team. It's a bit too much.
Maybe it's like the green coin could be like a curse because
Exactly.
she was a former Green Ranger,
Exactly.
and maybe he's someone who's like a really good guy, and then he takes it. It's like he starts changing, as you said. So like then you could kind of see, okay, we need to change the green coin into the white one.
Exactly, and this is where my theory comes in. Also, my own personal theory where Zordon didn't explain why Rita was the way she was, and like I said, maybe the coin of the gold possesses them, but this could also leave a lot of potential as to why things are happening and why, we don't know why Rita turned on them in the first place. Zordon said that they were friends. So at one point she was the Green Ranger, he was the Red Ranger, and they were okay. So it wasn't always possessed. She wasn't always evil.
Yeah, something must have happened.
Exactly, because Zordon, all he said was she just wanted more power, all the power for herself. If the Rangers and they're fighting for the sake of the Zeo Crystal, it can't just be like she just decided she knew what the power was. She has like a personal
vendetta against him.
Exactly.
So there must be something more.
Yeah. Not just him, but there must be something else. Like again maybe a possession, some sort of evil force. Lord Zed, he possessed the evil coin, the green coin, gave it to her, the way Rita gave it to Tommy in the show. Something cool like that. Anyways, here's another theory I read. What if Tommy Oliver is Tommy Oliver? However, he has a twin sister. Both him and Tommy qualify for the green coin. We see them both use the coin, but his sister becomes evil with it, with Rita whispering in her head. Tommy is good and always remains good. We get a battle for the coin scenario. Ultimately, Tommy gets the coin and stays the Green Ranger. His sister, though, becomes the White Ranger.
That sounds like it could be a movie in itself.
My only issue with that is that we don't need any other Rangers in that form.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It makes no sense at all. Like the other 5 are not worth it at all.
It sounds like it's its own movie.
Exactly, and one big thing about the whole Green Ranger saga is that his rivalry with Jason. That's what made the whole thing cool, and that needs to happen again.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have him fight amongst his sister.
No, I'm not too crazy about
that. No, it's kind of weird, right?
Well, that's just kind of a person getting creative.
That's fine. I don't mind the idea.
No,
but if I had to go with that, by the way, Tommy's the White Ranger. His sister could become the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
Keep the Green Ranger feminine. Make the White Ranger a guy. I'm 100% because I'm a White Ranger fan at the end.
It's a cool idea, but I don't see it being the story for this second.
No, right?
I like the theory though that they find the White Ranger power coin and it was like long gone.
But here,
so Zordon like completely neglected it because it's like even before his time.
No, but think about this. Here's my thing on it. Okay, the Zords were created after the dinosaurs of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
So what was the Dragon Zord made out of? There's no dragons. There never was a dragon. And the Tiger Zord is based off tigers.
Maybe in Valyria.
They were made. Tigers roamed the earth millions of years after dinosaurs. How did that coin come apart? So there must be more alien stuff that's going to come into this.
Or maybe maybe they went to Valyria and like another planet and got it.
Yeah, Valyria.
Game
that movie looks. Are you talking about that Valyria?
Yeah,
I thought about Valyria in the movie before.
Like Valyrian steel.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about that.
Imagine.
What else is there to talk about? Okay, so those are the theories. My personal preference, again, like I said, Tommy becomes evil Green Ranger somehow. He molds the staff into a shield, because we don't get that. And that's why I'm hoping the gold isn't the purpose of her evil. We somehow see the Dragon Zord. And look, one thing that was really referenced in the movie, and I know this is the 4th time I watched it, they're right on a pier. Angel Grove is right on the ocean. The Dragon Zord emerges from the ocean in the show.
And she was thrown in the ocean too.
And
Rita.
That's true.
At the beginning, and there was like an all-out war, like literal like apocalypse.
Oh my god, maybe there's like a shadow that we didn't notice.
I don't know.
Shit.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it again.
I know
That's
that,
true. I
that,
didn't
that
think
there's a
about
lot
that.
of things that like a lot of I guess animals, whatever.
In
It's
the
like the
opening-
Neolithic time.
Yeah,
right?
especially in the opening scene, there's a lot of things to pay attention
Flying
to.
around, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. They didn't explain anything about her. They didn't explain why she's evil. Why didn't she even reference the Dragon Sword? Why didn't she fully morph?
I think that there's gonna be a prequel movie about how it all happened.
I don't think it's gonna be a prequel. I think the next movie
Or
Zoran
flashback.
just is able to explain it because they didn't know what
Oh,
direction they were
or
going
maybe
in.
a flashback.
Yeah, they can
like in
definitely-
the opening
yeah.
scene of
I
the
think
next
a
time.
flashback
Yeah.
would be good enough.
Yeah,
Where like you wouldn't understand it until the end of the movie.
yeah, like and maybe like it pans out with Zordon speaking to the Rangers about the story, so they understand how Rita became the way she was and why there was no Dragon Zord, or whatever. So, yeah, that's my theory. Now, I don't want them to skip over green with Tommy and just become white. I
Maybe he
wouldn't
won't
mind
come white at
seeing
all.
I wouldn't mind seeing Tommy being a good Green Ranger, but maybe just like a one stand. Like he becomes evil. He summons maybe Goldar and the Dragon Zord, and then he becomes good and fights off Goldar again, and then he loses his powers for good or
But
something. like that.
maybe he will never turn as a White Ranger. We don't know.
I really hope they do because
I think they
that's what
will.
I'm nervous about. But there's 6 movies, right? They gotta make toys, so that's why the Thunder Zords are rumored to be in the next couple of movies. Not the next
Titanus.
one. Titanus. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. The Ninja Zords, the Ninja Powers, all this stuff. I think they're not gonna go past the Thunder Zords because they don't need to change the suits too much for that. Whereas the Ninja Zords, they don't need to change the suits, but the Zords are so out there, where. Oh, actually, I didn't think about that. Holy shit! I just thought of this. Tommy, his Dragon Zord. It's based off mythology. So are the Thunder Zords. So Jason takes over the Dragon Zord because his Thunder Zord is the Red Dragon Thunder Zord. It somehow gets a glow of red maybe later, and he takes control while Tommy becomes the White Ranger to control the Tiger Zord. Fuck, that's crazy.
There's so many
That
routes
was a
they
bit.
can go.
That was
Yeah.
a bit confusing, but
Not really, not at all. Okay, here's another one. The Dragon Zord fights the Megazord in the show, and the T-Rex Zord in the show. The T-Rex Zord is way smaller than Goldar was. So how big is this Dragon Zord going to be? Are they going to have to make it huge, or is Tommy going to somehow steal their Zords to make Dragon Zord in fighting mode? To be that size,
The size of what?
like a Goldar or the Megazord.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming they're gonna keep it on the same par, right? It's about it looks like it's
Yeah.
2 to 3 stories high each Zord, or at least
Yeah.
the T-Rex Zord. The Dragon Zord in the show was almost on par with it. It was a bit taller than the T-Rex Zord. It was on par almost with the Megazord. So how tall can they make it? Because the Megazord was at least double the size, if not more, than the T-Rex Zord.
yeah,
How are they gonna do that?
I don't know.
So these are questions that the next movie's gotta answer. So we're all really, really looking forward to this next movie, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
it
to
should
it.
be.
I'm gonna go audition, and I'm serious. I'm actually gonna try and audition for the role of Tommy. I'm gonna get in the best shape of my life, and I'm gonna become best friends with JDF. I'm gonna become best friends with all the crew, and I'm gonna try and
You're gonna date
Becky G. Or Naomi Scott, but she's married, so Becky G's. She has a boyfriend, but who cares?
Doesn't
It's
matter,
never
right?
stopped me before,
Little love
right? So
triangle.
yeah, 'cause, we'll cause real life tension in the movie. It's gonna make it that much more authentic, right? So no, I'm joking. But I actually would love to try out for the movie and audition if I could figure that one out. So if any Ranger fans out there know anything, shoot a link or something like that, because I don't even know how to even begin with that. Excuse me. And Tommy should be great. You want him cast with long hair or short hair? Like, does long hair need to be a thing?
No, it's not necessary.
I don't
It's not
think it's
necessary.
necessary, but it would be cool.
It'd be a
though.
nice touch.
I don't think anything in terms of looks or anything like that is really a necessity. Like I said, the only thing that I would prefer to see is that it's a guy because
Role
JDF
to
played
make it-
and because he's so legendary.
Yeah.
Because you always associate
Oh,
that
yeah.
Ranger.
That's what I
a
want to
guy.
mention
That's
before I
what think.
forget. The original script before the director took over was that Zach would be the Pink Ranger and Kimberly would be the Black Ranger. That is fact. That's the original script. Saban said absolutely not. So that's why a lot of fans are saying there's no way they're going to make Tommy a Green Ranger. Plus, you have to also think
Tommy
they
a
need to Tommy a girl, and that's why you also need to think that they need to sell toys. Again, going back to the thing, guys, and this movie was always going to be made for kids. Little boys are going to be the ones buying the toys, not the little girls. That's just fact. That's not sexist. That's fact. Yes, there will be girls buying toys, but the majority will be little boys. Little boys are gonna want to buy the Boy Rangers. They're gonna want. They know that Tommy as a guy will make them more money. It makes more sense.
No, I can see them making him a guy. I mean,
They should. They
should.
If they make him a girl, I'll accept it. But even the director, he constantly referenced him as a he after the movie came out. He will have attitude. He will be this. He will be that. He didn't talk. So I think they're just gonna brush what the cast says and say, you know what, guys,
Like I said,
deal with it. It's a guy, and that's it.
If they would have, it would have been cool if they changed the thing around. Like if they said Zach was gonna be pink. I don't really think he should have been pink. I think he should have been yellow because pink's obviously more associated with girls than guys. So I think it would have been a better if they would have changed it.
I would have been,
and
like,
then they would have
trying
made it
too hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It should have been I'm sorry. Each ranger should have been their gender. That's it. Simple as that to me. Pink and yellow are the girls. Red, blue, and black are the guys. Why? Maybe some future Power Rangers season could go that route, like with the video we just watched.
Yeah.
But I don't think if you're rebooting something, you gotta stay to some essence. And the Dean Israelite, the director, is a huge Ranger fan. I don't think he's gonna go that route. I'm pretty sure he's gonna keep Tommy as a.
Yeah, I
as a
think
guy.
so. I think so too. I don't see them.
I don't see them changing it.
Could be
but-
wrong, but
Like I
don't
said,
see it happening.
either way, it's not a big issue. Either
No,
way,
it's not.
The quality of like the
They've earned my trust.
exactly.
They've
is,
earned my trust.
Is, you know, like I said, it's not a really big issue. Like I said, it's either way, it's a good start to a good series of movies, and it was definitely, like I said, it was a good thing to touch
Exactly.
upon the diehards, the people in between, and the people who are new, to attract as many people as possible without copying out and without shoving
Yeah.
stuff down our throats. So I thought it was a really good movie, touched upon a lot of really good elements of the diehards and the new guys.
And last question. The Dragonzord summoned by a flute. Do they do that in the movie?
See, I think maybe Tommy. You said he's gonna have the chest made of gold. I think he's gonna use some of that gold to create the flute.
That'd be badass. But
Because the flute is kind of goldish, right?
but there was again, like, how would he find it? Right? Like, he can't just make a flute to summon a thing he doesn't know would connect.
Well,
to
the
it.
remnants of Goldar, maybe. I don't know.
It's somehow connected to the Dragonzord.
Yeah, like I said, I think that the Green Ranger, because she turned evil, is somehow associated with evil. Like green
Yeah.
is associated with evil.
Green with evil.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I mean, like I think there, like once he touches it, he's gonna start to, like I said, he's become more egotistical. He's gonna think like a bad guy, I guess. And I think that he's gonna eventually harness the power of what Rita did to some extent, but have some weaknesses because deep down inside he is like a good guy type of thing. Whereas Rita was fully corrupted. So like I said, I think somehow, some way, because you're somehow connected with evil and the Green Ranger, which Rita had a lot of influence on creating Goldar, that they're somehow going to be linked, and he's going to manage to get some gold, maybe from the remnants of Goldar after the battle, and then create the flute and the shield.
I think they just need to explain a lot in the next movie. And another thing is, when let's say he does summon it with the flute. In the show, he rarely went in the cockpit. He should be in the cockpit, right?
Yeah.
He shouldn't control it with music. Just summon it. That's.
I think he should summon it with it and then go in.
And here's another badass thing I thought of.
Yes.
In the show, obviously, Jason and Tommy are martial artists, right? Jason is not a martial artist in the movie, but he's a star athlete.
Maybe he's like the other guy's a defensive player.
No, think about this. Tommy, have him be an MMA fighter. So he could kick people's ass.
I was
like
thinking
be like that much better than everybody else.
Because that's the whole thing, right?
Which
They
makes
can't
him,
defeat
which
him.
makes him more attractive because he's like superior than the Red Ranger.
Exactly.
He's already practicing the arts.
Exactly. So have him be like, all of them know how to like fight through that simulator.
Yeah.
That's how. Tommy knows how to fight.
He's already steps ahead.
Let's make him kick all their asses. So then they're even more like, what do we do? How do we defeat this guy?
Yeah.
And which makes him more attractive to the Pink Ranger because she's like, wow, he's like
exactly,
so
especially
that badass type of guy.
And in the original show, that's how it all started. Tommy was on par with Jason, or if not slightly better than Jason, and he kicked all the Rangers' asses in the first episode of Green with Evil. You see, you're kind of referencing stuff at the same time. You're
and again,
you're giving it a new twist,
making him an MMA fighter can even relate to more fans.
Exactly, and it's another homage to JDF, who is an actual MMA fighter. Right?
That'd be good.
So that'd be all cool stuff. Alright guys, we went on for a little bit longer than I wanted to, but it was fun. We went through a lot of crap. we'll do this maybe again. Maybe we'll come up if we stumble upon more theories or if we think about more stuff. Maybe we'll come back to it.
More things get released.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll talk about it again. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Again, I'm super biased. And for Ranger fans, I'm gonna be posting this on a lot of Ranger sites and stuff. Give me your feedback, love, hate, whatever it is. Let's start a conversation. Let's keep it. I know I called some of you haters idiots. I say it to say it. I call my brother and friends idiots all the time. I don't mean it in that way. It wasn't like a heat of the moment. It's part of my language. So I'm sorry if I offended you with that. But for real, let's talk. I love commenting back with people who watch our stuff. I love talking about Ranger stuff. It's my passion. I know more about this than anything else other than sports relating to my favorite teams. This is my passion, and I love it. I'm so happy to be a part of this community. It's a great community to be a part of. And guys, we finally got the movie we all wanted, and definitely the one we deserved. Right? I mean, you guys are happy for us Ranger fans more than anything, right?
I said it as soon as the movie finished. I was happy for the fans.
Exactly. So so that's it, guys. So leave some comments. Let's talk. Subscribe to our SoundCloud and our YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing some more Ranger gameplay videos of the Mega Battle and the Sega Genesis game. When I'm done school in about 2 weeks, I'm going to be releasing a shit ton of it. So expect a lot of that if you're interested. If you like sports, we do sports podcasts too. So
coming up.
and like I said, hockey playoffs coming up. We have our prediction center. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you tune in again. Together we are more. It's morphin' time. The power is on. Whatever other quotes are from this movie.
Go Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. Go Vegas Raiders. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and take care. We'll see you all next time.
Peace.